Tourism Minister optimistic about the development of a new niche market. Uniform assistance still available for those in need. And another tragedy at the Jack Hayward High School.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Shoshina Wolf-Arkeson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, there is a new trend developing in the tourism industry, and officials believe that the country can benefit significantly from this shift. While they admit that monitoring this emerging sector may be a challenge, they say once again a quality experience is what will set this destination apart from the rest. Megan Shepard has our top story.
The Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Dionisio de Aguilar, expressing his approval of the growing vacation rental market throughout the country and here on Grand Bahama. The market is most famous through the website Airbnb, which allows guests to rent the personal homes of residents in countries and cities that they visit. The tourism minister says he believes that these types of small developments are much more impactful for Bahamians.
These we are finding to be the engines of a tourism economy now. People are shifting away from the bigger resorts to these smaller, more boutique side style locations, and it's good to see, and people are fun and much more personable, and met some foreign visitors when we were here today, and they're obviously, they've been coming here many years. We find in these types of accommodations, or these types of hotels or boutique accommodation, that you have a very high repeat business.
He adds that these type of rentals are steadily becoming the engine of the tourism economy, as more and more tourists are shifting away from the bigger resorts for a more boutique style experience. However, he does admit that the vacation home market is difficult to measure.
It's the fact that for very little money, you're in the hotel business. So before, you had to have $5, $10, $15 million, $20 million, $100 million, $1 billion to build hotels, and therefore to engage in our number one industry. But what Airbnb and the like are doing is they're allowing small operators to get into the business as big as one room, and for that tourist dollar to go directly into their pockets without having to pass through anybody else. So I think that from a government standpoint, very, very supportive of that, just because of how it puts money right in the hands of people almost immediately.
Minister de Aguilar also noting that these business persons must now ensure that each guest has an amazing time while on island and within their homes.
If you don't make that vacation incredible, they get online and they say that the place wasn't nice and the service was bad, and that is it. You will never be able to rent your place again. So it's very, very important that when you go online, people have the ability to write comments about you, and you have the ability to write comments about your guests. But it's a very transparent renting mechanism, and you have to ensure that those that come there have an awesome experience, and that's the only way you'll keep people coming back, because you get ranked.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Megan. Well, they are partners in the business of tourism, and today these members of the ground transportation sector were voting for a new executive team to manage the affairs of the Grand Bahama Taxi Union. The polls opened at 9 a.m. and there were some 18 positions on the ballot. 175 members were eligible to vote. Those turning out early say they want to see change in the industry.
I'm looking for changes in our presidency where we can have somebody that's going to stand up for the taxi drivers, that's not going to sit down and relax and tell us things and don't get it done. That's what I'm looking for. Because we've been going through for a long time. And when you have the buses coming in the harbor and so many other buses, private charters are coming on stream, taking our jobs, then it's time to, it's time to look elsewhere.
The way it appears right now, we're not getting the respect that we need as taxi drivers in the community.
I've been a taxi driver for 4 years, and I'm really interested in seeing a change from the top to the bottom. I want to see a change where taxi drivers could get more to take home to their families.
Well, candidates for the top post are incumbent David Jones and Harold Curry. The vice president position contested by incumbent Rodney Forbes, Sydney Abaco McIntosh, and Elizabeth Smith. And for the second vice president position, Stephen Bain, Zenrick Blackus Saunders, and the incumbent Geraldine Dean.
I have to continue to see if we can get more jobs provided for the taxi drivers. A lot of jobs have been taken away. So now we're trying to get them back. We have already gotten some of them back, and we have to continue that fight. And that's the reason why I'm running in this election, to continue to fight, to make sure that we get what's rightfully ours.
Now the polls closed at 5 p.m. and we will have those results in a later newscast. The Minister of Social Development and Urban Renewal encouraging those who may still need assistance for school uniforms to apply to social services. While the government has received some backlash for a cut in social services, the social services budget tonight the minister responsible says those who meet the criteria will not be turned away.
As it relates to uniforms.
The Minister of Social Development and Urban Renewal, Frankie Campbell, making it clear that students who may still need uniforms should apply for uniform assistance. In recent weeks, the government has come under fire for a cut in uniform assistance from $360,000 last year to $270,000 this year, a difference of some $90,000. But the minister responsible is clearing up some misinformation.
There is no question about whether or not they were assisted last year. There's no question about how many children are in a family. The government of the Bahamas, through the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development, is committed to ensuring, as far as possible, all of our children are ready for school, and we will assist once we're satisfied that persons meet the criteria. Of course, we're here for the needy, not the wanty. The needy. So we will help those in need, and the only way we can discern that is by evaluating.
There is a criteria that must be met for those who need assistance. You have to show proof of Bahamian citizenship, proof of connection to the child who the application is being made for, and provide the child's report card or school acceptance letter if the child is going into a different school or starting school for the first time. The minister says that the aim is to assist those within a certain income bracket.
So we're not here for persons who may have income and they use their income unwisely, etc., and then want to be assisted. We're here for persons who didn't have the income in the first instance. Our philosophy is good governance is not about how much we give to persons who already had, but it's about what we do for persons who never had. So we're here for the needy.
Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest agrees. He says that there is no doubt that there is adequate funding for assistance programs for social services.
So there's no question that those funding is available, and as the minister said, it's really about ensuring that we have accountability, that we spend the people's money wisely and for those who are most in need. And so again, those who are in genuine need, they will be assisted, and there's no question about the funding in that regard.
Should we find that what was allotted for a particular program has been exhausted, we will prioritize based on what we perceive the need to be, and we'll make some adjustments.
Campbell explains the timeline for distribution should you still need to apply for uniform assistance at this stage.
Well, I would say generally within a week or two. We realize that at this late hour, some of our people like last minute, so we have our staff in the various offices prepared to do a little more overtime. Some persons will come at the last minute. Between now and the 15th, we're still looking to assist persons.
Shoshina Wolf-Arkeson, ZNS Network News. And on to some sad news. It is day 3 of the new school year and the Jack Hayward High School family continues to mourn. For students, staff, and administration, they have now lost a third member of that school family. Tonight, they are trying to cope with yet another tragic blow. Our Jay Philippe has this report.
The Jack Hayward Senior High is in a deep state of mourning, having losing 2 students earlier this week following a traffic accident. They are grieving another loss. This time, a very dedicated educator who has been teaching at the school for the last 20 years.
We are feeling a loss, but at the same time, we're also concentrating on the great times that we had together with her. She was a very active teacher at this school. She served in various capacities, house coordinator and cosmetologist. In fact, she even was a science teacher originally, and she had a lot of vitality and vigor. And even during her sickness, she just pressed on, and if you didn't know she was ill, you wouldn't know that she was.
Stephanie Higgins has served as a cosmetology and science teacher at the school. She was also actively involved in other areas around the school. Principal Brown Smith says her presence will be greatly missed.
She is going to be a great loss to us, and we are going to, our condolences go out to her husband and her children, and especially her children. She loved her children. You know, there's a hymn that says, "Can a mother's tender care cease to war towards the child she bare?" And they are motherless today, but I think we have a lot of women here and a lot of her friends and family who are going to surround them and give them comfort and strength during this time. So our condolences go out to them and to Mr. Higgins.
We're here at Jack Haywood Senior High this morning, where there was another loss in the Jack Haywood community. This time a teacher has passed away, and we can only hope that the family and friends are very supportive during this time of grief. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Wow, thanks so much, Jay. Definitely a beautiful person. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us.